What's up, guys? It's your boy, GVS. There, you happy? So, a day natty is a day wasted. This is something that I've heard a few different people say, notably Mr. Tony Huge. And needless to say, I completely disagree, and here are my thoughts on that particular gem. So, there are 5 main issues that I have with this statement. First, it downplays what is achievable naturally. If you talk to some of these guys, they make it seem like if you're natural, you're just destined to be skinny fat. And that is absolutely not the case. There are a number of individuals on YouTube, especially, who have incredible physiques training naturally. You can go way further than these people think, and probably way further than you think, doing it naturally. You can get absolutely lean, you can get peeled while natural. In fact, you can actually look leaner natural than enhanced because you don't have to deal with all of the water retention. Also, you can get big. Also, you can get strong. You can basically do whatever you want with your physique within reason naturally. Now, I'm not saying you can get as big naturally, but maybe that's a good thing. And your natural physique is going to be consistent, it's going to be stable, it's something that you can actually have year round rather than blasting and cruising and cycling, and then now you move in this compound, but then this interaction here and you're not sure what is doing what. No, if you're natural, you're pretty much going to look great the entire year. You'll also feel great, as we'll see later, and I think that is pretty important as well because the side effects from the drugs can be significant. And yes, your natural results will take longer than blasting a cycle. I see people taking drugs their first year or 2 of training, and yeah, your results might be faster, but will they stick around? I hear some people try to do the mental gymnastics of, if I blast up to my natural potential, and then I go off the drugs, I'll just maintain it. That never happens because you never learned how to train. And most of these people in 3 years and 5 years, especially in 10 years, they're not even training. They're not even lifting. So they didn't maintain anything. They just blasted away and they're like, oh, look how good I used to look. This is me 10 years ago. Great. Everyone thinks fast is the way to go, but sometimes long and slow gets the job done. Another benefit, which is not talked about that often, is that if you are natural, for the vast majority of your lifting career, you will always be the biggest you've ever been. And so maybe your progress will be slower, especially, 8 years, 10 years, 12 years into training, but you can still absolutely make progress, and at least it's progress. At least you're chipping away towards your potential. Whereas if you go the enhanced route, you just have to take more and more drugs. Like, that's really the only option later, because often people never learn how to train. They're just like, oh, pharma, we're going to increase the pharma. That's not sustainable at all. And it's not hard to convince young, dumb men to take drugs. Okay? It's not like this is some kind of monumental task to, hey, here's some trend. Like, if you're 18 years old, you're just like, yeah, this is going to be great. Probably not. Second major issue that I see is that some of these channels are shaming naturals, which I guess I kind of get it, because there are some channels, and maybe I've put off this vibe in the past, that shame people who are enhanced or who do drugs. And I think shaming makes sense in some contexts. If you are taking steroids, taking a whole bunch of stuff to get beach ready, which I've seen notable times, that should be shamed because it's bad for you. It's bad for society. It doesn't really make any sense. You're using drugs as a way to avoid putting in the work, putting in the training, getting the knowledge, and actually doing things the natural way. Some enhanced lifters think that, all the steroid users, they're all like super hardcore and dedicated, and they're all pushing the limits of what is humanly possible. No, a lot of them are trying to go from skinny fat to less skinny fat, which they could do just with diet and training. And so, yeah, that should be shamed, and I'm happy to do that. And listen, if you're a high-level athlete, if the small benefits of steroids in a very niche area are worth trading your health and all these other drawbacks, and you've actually ran the numbers, you've thought about it, you've put in the time naturally, etc., and it's worth it to you, fair play, right? Like for me, it's not a moral issue. It's just a practical, logical issue. And so if you are a high level athlete, if you are in a competitive sport where they are necessary to perform at that level, fair play. But that's not most people. Now, you can try to shame people for staying natural, I guess, but for the vast majority of people, deep down, staying natural is the right decision. And if in your heart you know it is the right decision, you can't really be shamed for it. So go ahead and try. It won't really work.
Shame. 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 Shame.
The third issue that I have with this type of message is that it overemphasizes the importance of pharma. I get asked what my testosterone level is on a pretty much weekly basis at this point, and so when I tell people that I don't know or it's never been tested, they're like, but how do you know how to build muscle if you don't know your testosterone levels? I just don't think it's particularly relevant, you know? If I felt bad, I would try to find out what was making me feel bad and correct that rather than getting a blood test which would just tell me that it was low or not low, and then I would try to fix the things in my lifestyle anyway that were having issues, right? Like, it's not necessarily actionable information the vast majority of the time. And so I see these people who are literally, do you even lift? And they're talking about like various interactions, and they're like, they have this fucking flow chart on their screen of like, oh, I gotta take this, and then the interactions with this, and then this will support this, but then I gotta take this to inhibit this, and it's ridiculous because the training is way, way, way more important. Okay, now if you are enhanced, okay, sure, maybe adding in a compound could be the thing that gets you to the next level, but man, there are a lot of people who they have no clue about training because these channels generally don't talk about training, and I think they have no fucking clue about training in a lot of the cases. And so they're just so pharma focused, but they look so bad and they're such a beginner that, to me, that's a big issue. Man, if only I got my testosterone levels up, then I could build muscle. Probably not. By the way, this video is sponsored by Boostcamp. Training is absolutely essential, and having a good way to track your progress makes the process so much easier. Boostcamp is an app where you can track everything. Also, it gives you access to some of the best programs on the internet. I myself have 2 programs up there, Rampage and Ravage. You can check them out. I have been getting great feedback from people who are making visible progress in terms of muscularity on the programs, and so check them out and you can get those gains as well. So thank you to Boostcamp for sponsoring this video. Number 4, it overemphasizes the importance of muscle for a man. So a lot of men think that muscle is the most important thing just in life in general or for attracting women. It's not. These are almost always young men, either chronologically or mentally, but women don't care that much about muscle. There are greatly diminishing returns when it comes to making your physique more attractive. So going from skinny to like a bit of muscle in terms of FFMI, maybe you're like 18 to 21, tremendous. You know, that will actually help you with women. It's going to fill out your frame. You're going to, look a little bit more manly and more tougher. You won't look like a skinny nerd. Sure, that can provide some great results in terms of your success with women, but that doesn't require steroids. And eventually there will be such diminishing returns that it's going to go negative, right? Like you can get to the point, especially with steroids, where more muscle makes you less attractive on average for the average woman. And there are going to be some women who are really into the muscle look. Maybe they're into fitness or for whatever reason, but that is a tiny minority. For most women, kind of like the swimmer look, they think that is fantastic. And if you think, if only I had more muscle, then I'd get laid, probably not, okay? It's probably how you dress, might be how you smell, might be your social skills, might be your personality, it might be your face. And to the average woman, if she hears you're on steroids and spend all day at the gym, she's not like, oh yeah, oh, wonderful. No, she's thinking, okay, well, he's probably not a viable long-term partner. He's putting his own short-term muscularity ahead of his long-term health. And most women, not all, but most women still want to have kids, have a family, etc. So she's probably thinking, this guy's pretty selfish, this guy maybe is vain, and probably not a good choice. Number 5, health/blood work. Now, I heard one enhanced lifter. I don't remember who it is. This is me not trying not to throw shade. I would throw shade if I remembered who it was, because it was an asinine statement. He said, actually, taking steroids is good for my health because when I'm on steroids, I'm more health conscious. So I get my blood work, I eat right, I get in my sleep to make the most of the cycle. Therefore, steroids are good for my health, which is amazing in terms of the mental gymnastics this guy could do. Gold medal. Gold medal. Just show up, you win the gold medal. And my advice to this guy is every day when you wake up, take your fist and just start punching yourself in the nutsack, because that difficulty that you have to go through, it's going to make the rest of the day so much better. And there are obviously numerous side effects of steroids. I think one of the biggest ones is that it just ages you. It just makes you look older. And if you're a young 20-year-old guy, you might think, oh, hell yeah, I'll be the alpha, I'll be more mature. Not really a good look. You know, I can't think of how many times I've seen an enhanced lifter on social media and I thought they were early 40s or something. 22, 24, 19, you know? So, not a great thing, okay? If you look far older than your age, it probably means your biological age is actually older and you are slowly killing yourself. And yeah, there are a lot of enhanced guys passing at 30, 35, 40, or even younger. And, you know, it's always some genetic issue, right? It's always something that they had before. It was never the drugs. Maybe in some cases, but I think the drugs are, in most cases, the primary reason why it's happening. Balding, acne, inflammation, bloating, organ issues, etc. All of this for temporary muscle and temporary strength. The vast majority of which will go away when you stop because your doctor says, hey bro, you gonna die. He might not say that, but it'd be cool. And so is a day natty a day wasted? No, absolutely not. Natural training is incredibly productive and it can absolutely enhance your life as a whole. And maybe he's just saying this as a way to ruffle some feathers. Well, consider my feathers ruffled. And so I would say to most people, my advice would be think about what you might want in the future. So the future you in 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years, in 50 years, what are they going to regret? And for a lot of people, they do regret taking steroids. But how many people regret staying natural? Not very many. And if you've run the numbers, if you think that the increased muscle mass and increased strength are actually worth it for you, despite the health issues and other side effects, fair play, as long as you are honest about things and it actually makes sense for you. But for most people, that's just not the case. Anyway, for more about the training side of things, you can check out my books. They are everything I've learned about training over the past decade or so, and they will be incredibly helpful in your journey. If you buy the books, you use them for 5 or 10 years, then you still want to go enhanced, fair enough, I guess. But for most people, they have so much to learn about training, and you don't have to get it from the books. You know, there's a lot of areas, resources online that you can get it from. But if you are not at a high level in terms of your learning and you're taking drugs, that is just the height of stupidity. So don't do that. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.